Hi, my name is Jared Woodham, and today I'll be talking about the Tgmd2 skills test. The purpose of this assignment was to test the basic locomotor and manipulative skills of the K-2 level students through a series of tests. These tests included 6 locomotor tests and 6 manipulative tests for a total of 12 tests. Each student was allowed a practice attempt and 2 real attempts to show us their abilities. Each test had multiple points the student could be graded on. If the student completed the task successfully, he would receive a 1 for that section. If he was unsuccessful, he would receive a 0. The scores would then be tallied for a total score at the end. In this video, I'll show you myself instructing these students how to properly attempt this test, also the students' attempts and the rubric in which they were graded on. The first test we'll talk about today is the stationary dribble test. To successfully dribble a basketball, one must dribble with the fingertips and not the palm of the hand. You must also realize the basketball must stay below the waist and to the front outside portion of the shoe. The last requirement is that the student has to dribble the ball 4 times under control. As you can see, I'm showing the student right there how to do it. Now we will watch the student attempt to dribble the basketball. As you can see, he dribbled the ball successfully with his fingertips, below his waist, and out in front of his shoe 4 times. The next test that we'll talk about is the overhand throw test. In this test, we'll focus on 4 points. The throw must be initiated with the downward movement of the non-throwing arm. The non-throwing side of the body must face the wall after hip and shoulder rotation. The opposite side foot will step and release. The release will be across the body to the non-throwing side, as you can see in this video. Now, we've backed it up and we're going to watch the student's attempt right here. As you can see, he stepped with the correct foot. He started his throw with a downward motion. His hip and shoulder rotation caused him to be pointing towards his target, and he released across his body. That is the correct motion right there. The third test that we'll look at will be the kick test. This test will show us how to properly kick a ball. The kick will start with a continuous approach to the ball. This is typically a running motion. The non-kicking leg will then take a long final step and plant even with or right behind the ball. The kicking leg will then come through and strike the ball with the inside of the foot. Using the inside of the foot allows more control and precision, more so than the common toe kick. Now we will watch the student's attempt to kick the ball correctly. As you can see, he ran up, but he did not kick with the instep of his foot. He kicked it with his toe. Right here he corrects it and kicks it with the inside of his foot and has the correct form. Now, since we've gone through half of the manipulative skills, let's go ahead and move on to locomotor. The first locomotor skill is the run. Running requires the arms to move in opposition with the legs while the elbows are bent. The feet must never land flat-footed, and the non-weight-bearing leg must be at 90 degrees. If the form is correct, then at some point in the running motion, both legs will be in the air. As you can see right there, I never land flat-footed. My arms and legs are moving in opposition. My legs are at 90 degrees and my feet were both in the air. Now, we'll view the student's attempt. He is also demonstrating correct form. Now, moving on, our second locomotor skill and our 5th overall skill will be the horizontal jump. This jump begins with a squatting motion and the flexion of the knees. The arms will be flexed at the elbow and even with the waist. The jumping motion will begin and the arms will reach into the air and the student will jump They will then land on both feet simultaneously and the arms will swing in a downward motion. We will now watch the student perform his horizontal jump. So you can see he starts at the flexed position, throws his arms up into the air, and lands correctly on both feet and brings his arms down. Our last skill that we'll be discussing today is the one-legged hop. When hopping, the student needs to swing the non-weight-bearing leg back and forth to create force. As this happens, the foot of that leg will remain behind the body. The arms will also be flexed and move back and forth to generate force. To complete this task, the student must hop 3 times in a row on each foot. The student will now attempt to do the one-legged hop. You can see he's swinging his leg and his arms forward. He has consecutively landed on both feet 3 times. So he would receive a perfect score for this exercise. Now, for the last part of this screencast, we'll review the rubric for each student. This was a second grader. This is Drake. He's 8 years old, as you can see, right-handed. He's a male. For his run, he scored an 8, which means for each 4 points in both trials, he did his job successfully. Now, as you can see on the second one, the gallop, which I did not show you due to time, he did the first, third, and fourth points correctly on the first trial, but missed the second one. On the second trial, he only did the first and third correctly, and did the second and fourth incorrectly. If you add those up, it equals a total of 5. You can see on the third skill, he scored a 10, the fourth a 6, fifth an 8, the sixth an 8. Now, after we added that up, it was a raw score of 45. So his locomotor subtest raw score was 45. Now, for his manipulative skills, he had a 10, an 8, a 5, an 8, an 8, and an 8 for a total of 47. Now, for the other student, this is our kindergartner. As you can see, his name was Embry Allen Irvin. He was 5 years old, right-handed, right-footed. He was also a male. As you can see, on his first 3 tests, he scored perfect scores. His fourth test, he hiccuped a little bit and had just 1 point short of a perfect score, and then he finished strong with a perfect score on his last 2, for a total of 47. In his manipulative skills, he didn't do as well, came up with a total score of 38. Now, these were the rubrics we based each student off of. They were the same for both of them. But this shows you how far along the students have come in their manipulative locomotor skills at their age. It seems that Drake has progressed farther in his manipulative skills, as you would assume. Drake is the older one. And surprisingly, Embry seemed to have edged Drake just a little bit in the locomotor skills. In closing, I just want to review, this was the locomotor and manipulative skills test for those 2 students. We went over the videos. I just want to thank you all for your time. Once again, I'm Jared Woodham, and that was the Tgmd 2 skills test. And that's a wrap for me. Thank y'all.